Have you ever been given a really rude art critique instead of a valid, helpful one? Well, I sure have. Hello and welcome to my channel if you're new here, and if you're not, then welcome back. My name is Ren, and today I've got a bit of a story to tell you. So if you're doing laundry or drawing or just want something to listen to while you do literally anything else, then this is probably going to be a good background video for you. So I was probably about 14 and I was in AP Art. If you don't know what that is, AP Art stands for Advanced Placement, and it's basically a college-level high school class. So I was actually the youngest person in the class because at the time, freshmen weren't allowed in the AP classes, and I was put in there by mistake, but the teacher decided that she would let me stay in the class because she thought I was good enough to stay. I was very grateful for that because I was very excited to be in AP. Our assignment as the class was to take pictures of our own or our classmates' faces squished up against a glass panel to distort the face. And then we were supposed to print out that picture and draw a grid over the photo. After we had the grid drawn, we were supposed to transfer the grid onto a canvas and then draw everything that we see in the grid on the canvas. Afterwards, we were supposed to paint it. Since we could use whatever colors we wanted, I remember specifically using red, orange, and yellow. The yellow was for highlights, the red was the shadows, and the orange was the main color, the midtones. Granted, I would definitely use more colors and better complementary colors today, but I was a literal child at the time, so I can excuse my lack of understanding of color theory. I think it still looked pretty good, all things considered. I wish that I still had that drawing, but unfortunately, I do not. After everyone was finished with the paintings, we were supposed to critique each other. So we left our paintings on our tables, and then we had a piece of paper next to the painting. And then people would come around and they would write a critique on the paper, and then they would go to the next one. Most people didn't leave their name on the critique, and everybody was super nice about the art, complimenting each other and giving actual good advice as to how they can improve it next time. Until this girl, I'm going to call her Kay, got to my painting. It was in no means better than anyone else's, nor was it worse than anybody else's. And she had been very kind on everybody else's critiques. I know because she was one of the few people that left her name in her critique. When she got to mine, she wrote that it was bland and unoriginal and lacked creativity. Mind you, this is a grid painting, and when following a grid where you have to draw exactly what you see on the grid, when we all have the same prompt, originality is going to be nearly impossible to have at that very moment. When I did her critique on her paper, I had actually written something very nice to her. It was probably the weakest painting of the class, if you have to think about it on a technical level. She made the entire thing two different shades of pink, just two different shades of pink, no other colors. Yeah, I made mine orange, yellow, and red, but to her, my painting was bland. I told her that I really liked her painting, and I liked the pink colors that she chose on her critique, and I gave her some advice on how to have smoother looking paint strokes. There were other people that did their paintings in grayscale, realistic colors in green, blue, purple. So what made mine deserving of a straight insult, especially when Kay said nothing critical at all, no advice, nothing that she thought I needed to work on or practice on. She just said that mine was bland and unoriginal, and she was also about 2 years older than me too. Like I said, I was probably about the youngest person in the class. She was very kind and helpful in everybody else's critiques, so I just don't understand why she chose to be rude to me specifically. I feel like it was meant deliberately, even though I'd always been very nice to Kay and I offered her help or advice wherever she needed. Part of me thinks that she was just jealous, but I was nowhere near the best artist in the class, so that jealousy was definitely misplaced if that was the reason. I just didn't understand. Sometimes in my comments on YouTube, I'll get some critique as well, which I normally welcome as long as they're polite and helpful. But usually it's people saying that I should do something that I already know how to do, and if they would look at my other videos, they'd see that. Though I don't typically mind that. However, when people are rude or just flat out leaving hate and saying that they could do better, that's when it starts to get hurtful. Hate comments are never nice, even if you're meaning to critique. Lucky for me, most of the hate I get is because people think I'm cringe or need to lose a little bit of weight. So I'm glad that people are nice to me about my art. I never take any of the hate comments that I get seriously. I do, however, pin my hate comments because they post it publicly. Why not get publicly put on blast for being a dick, you know? I probably can't say that word. Anyway, if you're gonna post a hate comment public, I just pin it. If they don't want to deal with the backlash, then they can delete it. So, anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I am trying to make more long-form videos. I'm trying to pump them out a little bit faster. I know this one's probably not going to be that long at all after editing it, because there's only so much I can talk about that topic. Let me know in the comments if you want more story time with like speed paints in the background, because that is definitely something that I can do without having to take up too much time, so I can pump them out a bit faster. And tell me what the meanest critique you ever got in your art or work or music, anything that you create. Let me know in the comments below what the meanest critique you ever got is, if you are still here. And make sure that you drink some water, and I hope that you have a wonderful day or night, whatever time you happen to be reading or watching this. I don't know where I got reading from. Anyway, bye-bye.